The Republican National Convention is underway with primetime speeches set to get started in just a few hours. One theme you'll hear a lot of this week is President Trump's belief that Biden would hurt suburban living. So what's behind this so-called war of the suburbs? Our Joe St. George explains.
The sound of the suburbs. Grass being cut, Old Glory blowing in the wind.
I love having space. I love having a yard.
A different life for her kids is what brought Kim Stewart out of the city and into a suburban community an hour outside of D.C. Perhaps her story is just like yours.
We've got 2 boys now, and we just wanted to have an area where we felt that they had a safe environment to grow up in.
During this week's Republican National Convention,
it's very unfair to suburbia.
President Trump and Republicans will talk about a so-called war on the suburbs. So what is the president talking about? Well, it has to do with something created by President Obama and Vice President Joe Biden, known as the Affirmatively Furthering Fair Housing Rule. It basically says all cities and towns that receive federal funds must look at whether they have housing discrimination. That usually means towns should look at whether zoning laws allow developers to build too many homes like this instead of apartments. Nothing is mandated. President Trump is against that policy.
Undecided voter?
Undecided.
Republicans are doing this to try and sway undecided voters like Kim, and we found out it may work. We brought up the idea of an apartment being built near her home.
I think it would make me a little uncomfortable. We enjoy the quiet.
The Biden campaign, for their part, is calling this a scare tactic by Republicans, emphasizing there is another side.
And this is my home of 19 years.
Shantae High has lived in low-income housing in the heart of D.C. most of her life. She says Americans like her would love the chance to have more suburban options, perhaps send their kid to a better public school out of the city.
It's tough everywhere. Affordable housing is needed everywhere. You know, we're discriminated against.
So expect the suburbs to be a big part of this week's RNC. After all, the burbs may decide this election. In Warrenton, Virginia, I'm Joe St. George.